What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. I've got a video coming up for you tonight. If there was a Sim Football Hall of Fame, it's a first ballot inductee. Worked really hard on it, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. But before that, really important video here. So if you follow EA Sports, you know they've had some issues. If you follow EA as a whole, you know they've had an issue with The Sims here. And I'm just going to broad brush this, but essentially, it's a racial equality issue. The Sims is a game where a lot of people play to have a secondary life, if you will, to live vicariously through a character. And what has happened is, over time, EA has slowly taken away the colors, which obviously are used as a palette to create the race of the person that you play as within the game. This has gotten a lot of negative pushback from the community. Today, they implemented a fix. That fix, however, is only effective if you go in and change some settings in your game in terms of how it's projected on your screen, and people were very upset about this. I offer that to you because EA has been segmenting gamers for a very long time. If you go into Madden, they've segmented our gaming communities as arcade, sim, and competitive, and therefore they cater specifically to ones within that, or in terms of the sim community, I would offer they do not cater to us. I offer that because when you look at what they promote, no one is asking, from what I found, and I did search, for other athletes, entertainment, celebrities, any walk of life to be brought into the yard. Now, if they want to bring in competitive Madden gamers, people from within the community, I can understand that. But crossing over from other sports isn't really something that makes a lot of sense. Yet EA continues to do it, to cater to seemingly no one, other than the promotion of their own product by bringing in other athletes and other brands. Now, I offer that because it's very important to understand who EA chooses to do business with and why they choose to do business with them, because I would say that if you look at a channel like this that has just under 700 views average per day, 7 subscribers per day, and I said to you, this is a channel that is widely, openly, and has been promoted through EA Sports in their community program, you as a viewer would probably be a bit taken back by this, as you expect most creators that EA chooses to align with and focus on to have a much broader audience, a built-in audience, or have went out and created an audience on their own before any type of exclusive content or agreements came from any gaming company. So when you see something like this, which is an EA partnership, by the way, it makes me wonder where their focus is. What are they trying to do? Are they really interested in giving us a better game? And with the people that they choose to work with in our community, how many people can now meet the requirements to work with EA based on how frustrated overall as gamers we've become? Because when I look at numbers like this, and this is a YouTube channel, by the way, which, let's not speculate, take my word for it, please. I don't have anything against this guy. I don't have anything against anyone in this community. I wish everybody nothing but success until you mention my name, and then we all know how that works. But the reality of this is, EA has put themselves in a position, number one, where they have to be very cognizant of the creators they select, because at this point, many of us have spoken negatively about a game for just cause. And two, they have to be very cautious in what they attempt to fix, because at this point, they literally are in a position where they are so far behind, it's almost impossible for us to think that they are going to be able to get to where they need to be within a patch, much less 2 to 3 dev cycles. So anything they do is going to usually, in terms of my content, be met with, this isn't done correctly or this isn't done enough. And that actually mirrors what we're seeing with The Sims. Even when they try to implement these fixes, even when they attempt to do the right thing, their community says, you haven't done this right. You aren't doing this to our standard. And ironically enough, to make that connection back to The Sims, all they're asking for is a color shade selector that was in the game years ago. It's so ironic to me. Just go online today, search in Twitter, The Sims, and just read the community feedback. You can almost interchange the word Sims for Madden in 80% of the context of what's said. I actually put up on Twitter a couple weeks ago where I blurred out the games and I said, you can't tell which EA product this is referring to. It's a general frustration from the customer about a product that doesn't deliver a quality experience. And when you have to find people to promote that brand, you're going to struggle. Because at this point, I would challenge anyone in this community to sit down and tell me they're satisfied with the state of this game. But it does seem like there's an overwhelming amount of people that are not willing to talk about that frustration because they're afraid that they're going to lose the agreement and promotion and exclusives that they get from EA. But you also have just as many people that have lost those agreements that need to be filled, and EA has to go and basically hand select, or since people like to say I cherry pick plays, EA has to cherry pick the gamers that they elect to work with, even if they don't really have what would be seen as a commercially successful channel. Now, the reason I would say as a viewer, this would be more of a concern to me than it is to me as a creator, is because I know you guys sit here on YouTube and make content and make response videos to me that get far beyond these numbers. So why is it fair that this person gets selected by EA and one of you doesn't? Because you've talked about my content? Because you've shown other football games? Because you're not willing to sit there and commit a whole day of opening bundles and MUT packs? Because you're not willing to sit there and play a football game with athletes from other walks of life because you don't feel like that meets the simulation football gaming experience you want? That's a real problem. That's a culture problem. That's a problem that is being right now created, harvested, and grown by EA Sports. And we all just can't sit here and pretend like it's not happening. I understand that there's people in this community whose channels like this one may very well be dependent on EA promoting them. That very well may need EA MUT drops so that they can have views brought to their channel and get people to engage with their content. But EA should not be the one cultivating those relationships. They should be going to people that already have created their own platforms, their own audience, and see if they want to engage their audience in the same way. This would never work on my channel because I know someone's just beating their keyboard in. But this would never work on my channel. No one is coming to my channel, okay, for an Ultimate Team drop. Right? When they come to my channel, they usually drop Ultimate Team. So don't get this construed in a different way. I just think it's very ironic that EA has put themselves in such a box, right? They have put themselves in such a box by putting gamers in a box, by segmenting out everyone that plays their game. Here's the game mode for you, Timmy. Here's the game for you, Rich. Here's the game mode for you, Tom. And they've broken those groups down so much that they've broken them out even more. Well, if you like Madden Ultimate Team, you're going to love Superstar KO. If you love Superstar KO, you're going to love The Yard. And now we're going to build on those game modes. Now, you can take with a grain of salt that those game modes just happen to be focused around microtransactions. Okay? I'll take that with more salt than most people probably will. Because I've sat here and seen the decline of this series year after year after year. But I've never seen a game or a company that spends so much time and energy motivating its gamers to be frustrated by its products, that have so much of the same response across the board that people are tired of seeing a subpar product and being given absolute unacceptable responses to trying to fix their game. In this case, I'm going to show you guys a game that was developed console generations ago, do things Madden could never dream of, in negative and positive ways. I actually did multiple 10-minute videos on EA Sports and Madden this week, and had to back that up with the All-Pro Football video today, and I literally made a creative decision halfway through that I couldn't compare these games. I literally could not compare a play in Madden with a pulling lineman to a gameplay from All-Pro Football or 2K5 with a pulling lineman because they are so worlds apart. that it literally makes me look stupider trying to compare things that are so far apart because they just play the game and replicate the sport in ways that are totally different. I may ultimately try to do it one day because I'm sure it would generate views. But when it comes down to detailed X's and O's and executing football, Madden is struggling in every way possible. And the answer is not to go out and form relationships with other groups, whether it's music, whether it's actors, and try to bring them into your game to engage the consumer more, because the consumer is not engaged because the quality of the product is not there. EA right now is catering to people that want to play this game for 10 to 15 minutes, when 10 years ago, the average gamer wanted to spend hours with this game. And as a community, we need to let them know, just like the Sims community does, this is not acceptable. This is not proper protocol for going and fixing your game. And we demand better. Love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out. You already know, I'll be back in the week, actually tonight, with that video, First Battle Hall of Famer. Don't forget to watch it. Set those notifications, even though I never asked you to, in the week with more commentary.